he asked Malcolm this question: Malcolm, what you going to do now about money? Since you don't belong, what you going to do?
Peace.
So you know that
Peace to God.
Elijah.
Peace to the God.
Boss.
Hold on 1 second.
Who owned the black Muslim, don't you? I guess many of you have heard it said that if financial support comes from a rich man in Texas. I heard that while I was in the movement. I've heard it more since I left the movement. A rich man in Texas. You can look up, any of you can look up his name.
This is Reverend Charles Kenyatta speaking about
Nation of Islam.
the assassination of Malcolm X. It brings up an interesting question. He actually blames the nation for killing Malcolm. So I don't think that everybody that you can get information from is actually correct, but you could take bits and pieces of things to put together your own understanding. What he wanted to know, this Charles Kenyatta was the personal bodyguard of Betty Shabazz. Some say that he slept with Betty Shabazz while Malcolm was alive and in Africa on those trips. And it was a whole entanglement going on there that may have led to Malcolm doing the things that he did on February 21st, 1965. The night before, they had an OAAU meeting in which Malcolm X decided to have no security on his last speech. It was the only time in which he ever did that. And that was the reason that the shooters were able to get past security, because there was no security check.
Bro, I'm not going to entertain that.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to entertain that. I don't even think it's worthy of speculation. I think it does a disrespect and a disregard to Malcolm and his relationship with his wife. And I think that with respect to Malcolm and his family, that I think we would do them a disservice to engage in that type of rumor without actual facts. And I don't think it's worthy of our intelligence, or I don't think it's worthy of the respect that we have for his family to engage in that type of rumor or gossip.
Okay.
You know, I just feel that, you know, I don't know enough about Malcolm's personal life in that regard, or Sister Betty's life, and even for what I know, I believe that the sister loved her husband, and I don't believe in any form of fashion that, and the sister was pregnant at the time of his death. So I think it would serve ill practice of us, or even discredit us as you know, just fans or believers of Malcolm and Sister Betty, to entertain such foolishness, not having any facts to substantiate any of that.
Yes, sir.
So So I don't want to walk down that aisle of people who are trying to gain um, acknowledgement, or people who are trying to gain some type of fame um, about the brother or his family. I just don't want to give them any credibility whatsoever.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, so going forward, what were you saying?
This general order number 1 through 5.
Okay.
Um, just briefly to go through them. To take charge of this post and all temporal property in view is the first general order. To walk my post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert. 3. To report all violations of orders I'm instructed to enforce. 4. To report all calls from posts more distant from the temple than my own. And 5. To quit my post only when properly relieved. Just in those 5 general orders, the no security, which is an actual fact, it's not speculation, is violated. And this comes from Malcolm. Now, there were people that were influencing Malcolm to drop any association with the nation. These associations that he had with the nations were the protocols that kept us alive and kept our nation safe. And those were dropped for February 21st, 1965. You could say what you want about the nation out in the universe, but the nation does not have the power to remove cops from the site. That was step number 2 that went wrong. Now, this guy, Charles Kenyatta, whether he has any credibility or not, was the one that was asking these questions to anybody. He blamed the nation for killing Malcolm X. That may be the case. There's no way of knowing any of this. So we don't engage in the speculation. However, what we wanted to discuss with the general orders is there are rules to a game. It's just like in the drug game. If you don't follow certain rules, or in the mafia, if you don't follow certain rules, I'm listening to Sammy the Bull Gravano. He has not a podcast, a YouTube channel, and he talks about the rules. And he says that you would be fine in the mafia until you broke the rules. We're brothers until you break these rules. And one of the rules he had was the rules of security. Those rules cannot be broken because it puts everybody in jeopardy. And that's why I brought up the general orders in tonight's discussion. We can't give anything outside of the official story on Malcolm X, but that was not the purpose of bringing up Charles 37X. I don't care what he personally believes, but what he said about security. He thought that when he got to the Audubon ballroom that day, that something was wrong. Now, there are 2 men on front rostrum the day that Malcolm X got assassinated. Where were they? You've been to the mosque before. There's men posted on each side. Even if you don't have a searching routine, there are men posted on each side of those aisles, walking up and down the aisles. Where were they? There was supposed to be guests on the stage. Not one guest. These are prominent people that come to Malcolm's meeting to speak before Malcolm comes on. Not one showed up that day. Not one. All of the things that were normal in Malcolm's life changed February 21st, 1965.
Okay, are you wanting me to respond?
Yes, sir. If you want, it's not mandatory. It's just that I brought up general orders for that reason. I don't have anything to say about Malcolm or his personal life, nor was that my purpose in bringing up Charles 37X. It was just based on general orders and how we do this thing of ours, as Samuel Bull would say. That there's a certain protocol, even in your fraternities, even in your school and your academic life. There's certain protocols, not just security protocols, but they're just certain things that have to be done. If you want to get a good grade in school, you have to do this, that, and that.
Okay, so let me attempt to respond.
Yes, sir.
So in my attempt to respond, I'm first going to start off by talking about the general orders, at least the first 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're right and exact, and I think that they should be followed to a T. As it relates to protocol for security, and I think any breach of that puts an individual in danger. So I believe in that 100%. I believe in that in as much as I believe in street code. And what's interesting or what's problematic or what's not problematic is there's an overlap sometimes, or if not all the time, because a lot of the brothers that are in the nation, or a lot of the brothers that are 5%, we all come from the street.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's easy for us to follow that code because we've been trained our whole life to follow code, right?
Yes, sir.
So going into supreme wisdom or going into the nation and following code is normal and natural because that's what we've been told all of our life. Now, I think for me, the problem I struggled with is when I got into academia, street code life and following code, there's not a lot of place for that in academia.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of room for that in that other world. That other world doesn't respect street code. It doesn't respect general order. And so a person like me, I found myself in conflict because academia is different. It's just a different world,
Mm-hmm.
And I was conflicted between those two worlds, and not knowing how to balance myself between those two worlds. I think one of the biggest problems is most people coming from where I come from don't have to balance that. Most people coming from where I come from don't go into academia. They kind of stay in that world where they are, whether it's street or whether or whether it becomes religious. They kind of stay on that, that side. Right. But for me, it becomes a balance between both sides. And so now in trying to balance that, what ends up happening is the street will start to ask, are you still real?
Mm-hmm.
Because your academic world, your academia world is going to separate you. If you embrace your academia world wholeheartedly, it is going to separate you. And you need to understand the separation. And you need to determine whether or not you're going to be on this side or that side.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I have determined that I'm going to be on the side of academia.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I have chosen that side is because I don't want to go back to jail.
Yes, sir.
And for me, the street side, part of the street side, a consequence of the street side is going to jail. And there's a level of validation and credibility that comes with that. And I get it. But there's a part of me that have gone to jail
Mm-hmm.
that I will say to the street side, I respect you 100%. And I will not violate you all at no point, at no time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bow out. At any point where it becomes street, I'm going to bow out.
Right.
Because I understand what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't want the consequence of doing that, and being on the street side means accepting that consequence.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer in my life want to accept that.
Right.
And so I have chosen a side. And so I have said to my street side of my life, you know, whatever consequence that comes with me saying, you know what, I'm going on this side, I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool, and I'm gonna live with the consequences that come with that. So if it means me losing credibility in the street, I'm cool with that.
Right.
I'm cool with that because I don't want to miss days of my children or my wife. I don't want to miss those days anymore.
Right.
And I have committed too much time in the academic world to lose that and go to jail, or, you know, and all that stuff. I don't want to do that. Prior to my academic life, it was worth losing. But what I will say is that my portrays coming from where I've come from
Mm-hmm.
have said to me, dude, you good. You good.
Mm-hmm.
They have said to me in terms of street credibility, you know, big homie, you good.
Mm-hmm.
You good. We don't even want that for you.
Right.
We want you to continue to do what you're doing.
Right.
You're going to add more credibility to us
Right.
doing what you're doing than if you was on this side trying to do what we're doing.
Exactly.
We ain't trying to do what you're doing. We ain't gonna get to where you are. You doing what you're doing is going to highlight us.
Right.
So my real dudes in the streets have said, dude, you good.
Mm-hmm.
You good. Not only you good, but we got you on this side.
Mm-hmm.
We got you on this side. Anybody trying to, hurt your name or do anything, negative, we got you on this side. We're gonna hold you down.
Right.
So they push me, to continue to do what I do. So
exactly.
So I'm good on what I'm trying to do.
That's what we call in the street real niggas. Real niggas do real things. If we see a brother trying to do better and improve his life, even if he's out on the street doing bad things, and he wants to change his life around, the majority of people are going to be like, hey, I'm with you. What you need, let me help you. I can't be in that life, but I can help you get there. But there's always going to be 1 or 2 or 3 motherfuckers that find this impossible because their life is so hard and their reality is so hard on the street that they cannot see anybody escaping that.
Yeah.
They would kill you rather than you enjoying some type of other life.
Yeah, bro. And bro, let me tell you, man, it is a difficult thing, bro.
It is.
It is. When you come from where we come from, and when you try to break away from that shit, bro, I'm telling you, man, it's hard, bro. It's, I'm talking to you right now, but bro, let me tell you, man, I can't tell you, coming from where I come from, and in the streets and all that stuff, bro. I come from some. Well, you already know. I come from some
thorough,
yeah. I come from some thorough hood. Yeah, bro. So I'm like an anomaly.
Right.
Like I'm like most dudes don't do it like I've done it. And bro, I can tell you that doing something new is so hard than doing what you normally do. Right? Because most people are going to go back to what they normally do because there's like, I don't even care if it's dysfunctional,
right?
But most people are going to go back to what they normally do because there's a comfort in that.
Exactly.
It's like the devil I know as opposed to the devil I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm telling you, like for me, like I walk into a space now, where, being a family man and husband and all that other stuff, man, that's some weird stuff. That is weird, bro. It's weird, talking to my son and my daughter every day and my wife. I mean, it's almost TV-ish.
Right.
And I'm telling you that I fought it in the beginning myself. Right. And I was probably the most self-destructive part of it all because I was having a hard time buying into it. I was like, man, this is some fake phony, I would walk in the house and my wife would be like, or my kids, how was your day? And I'd be like,
you niggas don't get away from me.
Exactly, bro. I was on something. And bro, I'm telling you, bro, that was hard. It was hard for me. It was really hard for me. And everybody in the community where I come from is always like, how did you do that? Man, how you doing that shit? Because everybody used to me being a player. Everybody used to me being a certain way. So me being something different is different for them. They're like, nigga, I don't even really know you, nigga. You real? It's like, dog, hold up, bro. This ain't the same nigga. I know. I know this nigga to be, to be a certain way. And so it's yeah, so it's different, bro, and it's hard. It's hard, bro. And I understand why most people don't do what I am trying to do because it's hard, man. It's a hard situation.
It is, and it ain't easy. But I think we are at the 24-minute mark in DF and Universe. It is 4:18 a.m. We have discussed, like real brothers, a situation that happened on February 21st, 1965. There were a lot of components to what happened. For us today in 2021 to be taking sides instead of having these discussions is a mistake for our collective going forward. Now, I know there are a lot of people that hear about the assassination of Malcolm X and you want to do something. You want to hurt people in the nation, or you want to look down on them. This is a whole new generation of people that are in supposedly the same business that you're in, the uplift of the Black community, the Black power thinking that we should be having going forward rather than going back. We remember Malcolm honorably, with great reverence, and we want to put that out in the universe. Any last thoughts on that subject?
Well, I think the responsibility is on every individual that says they love Malcolm. If you say you love Malcolm, then I challenge you in what you say that you love about Malcolm. And what I mean by that is who was Malcolm? Who was his mother? Who was his father? Who was his siblings? And if you are going to lay the blame of Malcolm's death on the doorstep of the Nation of Islam, or whoever you want to lay his death, whoever you want to lay his death on the doorsteps of, I'm challenging you on why you're doing that and how you're doing that. Because if it's just the Nation of Islam, then why? If it's the government of the United States, then why? Because what I need you, if you are a lover of Malcolm and not a hypocrite, then I'm challenging you to do the research of why Brother Malcolm ended up in the situation that he ended up in. Who was he? But not only who was he, but who did Malcolm think he was at that time? There's so much misinformation out here. There's in this new movie with what Sister Regina Hall attempted to do, and I think she had great intentions, but there's so much misleading information in that movie. There's so much misleading information in Spike Lee's movie. I'm challenging anyone who loves the brother or who say that they love the brother. Why do they love him, and how do they love him? Because I think the minister said it best. It's easy to name streets after a fallen hero. It's easy to talk about a fallen hero. Right? So it's easy to talk about how you love Malcolm and how you love Martin, but you aren't willing to do the sacrifices that they sacrificed their lives for. So if you're telling me you love Malcolm and you love Martin, I want to know, how are you living your life today? How they lived their lives during that time. And if you aren't doing anything that they sacrificed their life to do, then I charge you with being a hypocrite.
Yes, sir. I think one of the best things that came out of this segment was we were just talking about the streets and wanting to change your life, and just the thoughts process that goes into those dynamics was so genuine that it reflected back on a time when Malcolm wanted to distance himself from the nation, and probably rightfully so. But all of the dynamics that goes into making that change were a powder keg, a furnace, just waiting to happen. And there were a lot of thoughts involved, some of them genuine and some of them just hateful. And it was not as easy as the movies present it to be.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we did a great service to Malcolm tonight in putting that out there, just the thoughts in the universe of what happened then and what we should be thinking going forward.
Yeah, I think that we just want to be careful going forward about trivializing the brother's life.
Yes, sir.
And saying that that we love him,
Mm-hmm.
and hearing these things, because when Malcolm was living, when Martin was living, people were not in love with
That
him.
is correct.
And so to act like today, Malcolm is this great figure, or
Hmm.
Malcolm is this great figure. It says to me you don't even know the history of either one of those
That's
people,
right.
because neither one of those people were greatly
Hmm.
loved during the time that they were here.
Not even by their own people.
Not only by that's what I'm
We
saying.
were
So
considered, even when we were going to Al Sharpton's meeting, he was considered a troublemaker by black
exactly,
people.
yeah,
Like, why are
yeah,
you following that guy around? Don't you know
right,
he's doing this and that? He's disrupting the status quo. He's
right,
making it difficult for all of us.
right,
So you see the mindset of people, and that they're genuine and they mean well, but they don't see the greatness that's in this person.
absolutely,
They don't see the potential in this person,
yeah, yeah,
and we lose
yeah,
our great leaders that way.
yeah. We're always there.
Hmm.
We're always there.
Hmm.
Where were you when
Hmm.
Jesus was
Hmm.
assassinated? Where were you when the Prophet Muhammad?
Hmm.
Where were you when Malcolm was
Hmm.
assassinated? Marcus Garvey,
Hmm.
Gabriel Prosser,
Hmm.
Denmark Vesey. Where were you? We are always
Hmm.
there, but we allow them to be assassinated
Hmm.
right in our midst.
Right in front of our eyes.
Yep,
400 people stayed on the ground.
yep, yep.
We weren't ready. We weren't prepared. This type of life, this type of thinking comes with a big danger. And so you better be ready.
Yep, yep. And I don't know what it's going to take, but these conversations, I hope, will be the catalyst to that type of change.
Yes, sir. And we're at the 33-minute mark in DF University. It is 4:28, almost 4:30, brother. I think we will forego a bonus round tonight. I'm feeling a little bit better. I still got this headache, but I was glad we got to stay grounded. Although we're going to Mars, and I don't know who believes it or not, but there is something in it for Black people, whether we believe it or not. But let's keep an open mind. Last words, brother.
My iPods went out. They're probably going to go out again. So, I was able to charge them a little bit while I was listening to your last statements.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, bro, my last statements are let's continue to fight, bro.
Yes, sir.
Let's continue to do what we need to do. We'll continue to bring awareness as much as we can. We'll continue to have conversations as much as we can. Um, we are in a complex universe, bro.
Yes, sir. Indeed.